an atom bomb exploded in our public information ecosystem. That was the way I described what has happened in the world in the Nobel Lecture in 2021. And it was the only way I can think of to talk about how horrific this public information ecosystem has become. And who knew that it would get even worse? My heart goes out to Dima, to Alessandra, to news heads who have lost people. We are living through an information Armageddon where facts are under assault, truth is being murdered. This is, as my colleagues here, the news heads have said, the casualty is trust, making it impossible to communicate and to govern. The casualties mount daily in our newsrooms, our communities, our democracies. This week alone proves it. Citizens demanding an end to corruption face deadly violence in Nepal and Indonesia and trigger political realignment in the Philippines. Israeli strikes killing negotiators in Qatar. Russian drones shot down over Poland. Government collapsing in France. A conservative activist killed at an American university. These are not isolated incidents. They're symptoms of the systematic destruction of our shared public information ecosystem. When first social media and now generative AI exploit our biology for profit, inciting fear, anger, hate, rewarding the worst of who we are. I told Pope Francis, when lies spread faster, when lies spread 6 times faster, that's an MIT study from 2018, it actually goes against the 10 Commandments. It rewards the worst of who we are. These are weapons of mass destruction to our humanity. Their algorithms spread infection. The 3 sentences I've said over and over and over since 2016, I first said it in Silicon Valley. Without facts, we can't have truth. Without truth, we can't have trust. Without these 3, we have no shared reality. We can't begin to solve any problem, let alone the existential ones like climate change, right? We can't have journalism. We can't have democracy. This is manipulation of human behavior at the cellular levels of our democracies, and the trends are clear. We are electing illiberal leaders democratically. As of March this year, VDEM said that 72% of the world is now under authoritarian rules. We're going to face 3 critical battles. I'm going to summarize them, and then 3 solutions, we hope, right? First, the battle for truth. When deep fakes can destroy reputations, when micro-targeting and information operations can manipulate elections, when lies travel faster than facts, we must act. When it's a battle for facts, journalism is activism. Platform accountability isn't censorship, it's safety. It's restoring democracy's immune system. Second, the battle for human agency. Algorithms that amplify our worst impulses, that reward outrage over empathy, that trap us in bubbles of our own biases, these are not inevitable. They're choices. We can choose different values. We can design for human dignity. Third, the battle for the future we want. Will artificial intelligence augment human potential or replace human judgment? Will the internet serve humanity or humanity serve the internet? Each of us around this table, anyone watching, we can't solve these problems alone, news group by news group, nation by nation. The internet, disinformation knows no boundaries. The solution, our response, must also know no borders, which is why we must think of what radical collaboration, let me say that again, radical collaboration means for each of us. Thank you always to the Vatican for bringing us together in this. I've seen what happens when we fail. I've watched democracy die in real time, one viral lie at a time. In the Philippines, the Duterte administration filed 11 criminal charges against me in 14 months. Nearly a decade later, I still can't travel freely, I needed the Supreme Court approval to be here today, and very thankfully, partly because it's your request, they gave approval for me to travel. But here's the other part. Crisis always brings opportunity. I've seen what's possible when we act with courage and conviction. We have 3 paths forward, 3 solutions that I hope can restore information integrity and rebuild trust. First, journalism. That's why we're all here. We must return, and I think you've heard this from everyone, we return to our fundamental mission, serving the public interest. Today, as Dima, as Sergio, as Alessandra, this requires tremendous courage. Providing context when algorithms reward controversy, choosing verification over virality. Please, I beg you, we must stop feeding the platforms that are destroying us and build our own communities of trust, which leads to 2. Second, our community. At Rappler, we've learned that survival depends on communities of action. When Duterte attacked us, our community helped crowdfund our defense. I warned our sales team it's not a sustainable model when our crowdfunding increases every time I get arrested, but we kept going. When algorithms tried to silence us, our communities came out, they amplified the truth. We must build networks of trusted news organizations. They're around the table. Trusted news organizations that are federated systems that can connect people, real people, in a shared reality. Third, and this is the part I would love to throw to every news head here, technology, right? So journalism, community, and technology. I got tired of begging big tech to prioritize facts. It's really boring. So 3 years ago, we at Rappler built public interest technology, an open source, decentralized matrix chat app that allows real people to communicate without algorithmic amplification or manipulation. This is what the future of news must become. Technology that serves human connection. We can choose different values. We can design for human dignity. I implore you to think about radical collaboration in these times. We need to think differently. Pope Leo and Pope Francis before him asked us to, and the hashtag we debated for hours, hashtag be human. This is why we became journalists, to help our people understand our world and to understand each other. Today, to restore what technology has systematically destroyed. We know what creative destruction means. Again, from 2021, we are standing on the rubble of the world that was. Now it's time for all of us here to create the world we want. The future isn't written in code. It's written by the choices we make. All of us. This is a powerful table. All of us together. And we have to do it before it's too late. Thank you.